1 Kings 13. Just then a prophet arrived from Judah with the Lord's message for Bethel as Jeroboam was standing near the altar, ready to offer a sacrifice. So, a prophet is coming now. He cried out against the altar with the Lord's message. Oh, altar, this is what the Lord has said. Look, a son named Josiah will be born to the Davidic dynasty. He will sacrifice on you, the priest of the high places. You offer sacrifice, who offer sacrifices on you. Human bones will be burned on you. That day he had also given a sign saying, this is the sign that the Lord has declared. The altar will split open and ashes on it will pour out. When the king heard the prophet's message, then he cried out against the altar in Bethel. Jeroboam took his hand from the altar and pointed it, saying, seize him. Then the hand that he had pointed at him stiffened up, and he could not pull it back. Meanwhile, the altar split open and ashes poured from the altar in fulfillment of the sign the prophet had given with the Lord's message. The king responded to the prophet, said, seek the favor of the Lord your God and pray for me so that my hand may be restored. So the prophet sought the Lord's favor, and the king's hand was restored as it was at first. The king then said to the prophet, come home with me and have something to eat so that I may give you a gift. But the prophet said to the king, even if you were to give me half your possessions, I would not go with you. I am not allowed to eat food or drink water in this place, for this is how I was commanded in the Lord's message. Eat no food, drink no water, and do not return by the way you came. So he started back on another road. He did not travel back the same road he had taken to Bethel. So let's go through this story. So right as he is instituting this fake worship, a fake ceremony to copy what they're doing in the southern kingdom, which God had commanded, a prophet of God shows up. The prophet speaks against the altar, the place of worship. What is this supposed to be in some ways? A demonstration that God is still God and still in power in this place. And says, look, a son named Josiah will be born to the Davidic dynasty. He will sacrifice you, the priest of the high places, who offer sacrifices on you. So this is a son is going to be born to this dynasty. Has not happened yet. He is not born. So how do we have proof that this is going to happen? We have a sign that's going to happen now to show you that in the future, this other thing is going to happen. What is the sign? The sign is that the altar is going to split open and ashes are going to get pouring out of it. In the meantime, before that happens, the king points at the prophet, says, seize him, and it says his hand, his arm, stiffened. I want to go look at that a minute. The verb yavesh usually describes water source as dry or a plant as dry and withered. Applied to an arm, it probably means to become stiff, feeble, or both. Yeah, they translate it become paralyzed. See, I like withered. His arm withered. Because instead of the outstretched arm or the arm that's pointing, the outstretched arm is an arm of power, the arm pointing, doing that. It's stiffened. I mean, his arm is stuck. That seems weird. Shriveling, unusable. Withering makes sense to me. I don't know why stiffen up would be a better way to interpret it. I don't think so. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a better way to interpret it. But anyway, I guess they're saying it because he could not pull it back. And I'd have to go look up that. Maybe it becomes withered in the sense of it flops at his side and he cannot lift it. Maybe that's what whatever it is, he can't use his arm. And then the altar splits open and ashes pour forth from it. At the sight of this, he asked the prophet to pray on his behalf, to seek God and restore his arm. The prophet does that, and his arm is restored. Then the king says, come home with me and have something to eat so that I may give you a gift. And the prophet's like, I can't. Now, we'll get to the prophet thing in a minute. He asks him to pray on his behalf. This should be reminding us of Pharaoh, who asked Moses and Aaron to pray on his behalf. He's not repentant here. He's not seeking God. He's just wanting his arm restored. Why is he going to offer him gifts? So that he can bribe him in some way, probably, to influence him to do other stuff. So this prophet has come. The prophet came to the northern kingdom. Now he's sharing with the king the instructions of he can't go back the same way, and he's to eat no food and drink no water while he is there. And he starts back. Why does he tell the king? I think he tells the king, or the narrator is having him tell the king, so that we have this information. I'm not saying I think it was wrong for him to tell the king. The king doesn't act against it. I think it's there in the narration for us to know this information. He's also probably rationally telling the king, here's the reason I can't. And that would make sense if you tell the king you can't and you have a reason. Now there was an old prophet living in Bethel. When his sons came home and told him everything the prophet had done in Bethel that day, and they told their father all the words that he had spoken to the king, their father asked them, which road did he take? His sons showed him the road the prophet from Judah had taken. He then told his sons, saddle the donkey for me. When they had saddled a donkey for him, he mounted it and took off after the prophet, whom he found sitting under an oak tree. He asked him, are you the prophet of Judah? He answered, yes, I am. He then said to him, come home with me and eat something. But he replied, I cannot go back with you. I am not allowed to eat food or to drink water with you in this place. For an order came to me in the Lord's message, eat no food, drink no water there, and do not return by the way you came. So we've had this repeated. The old prophet said, I too am a prophet like you, and an angel has told me in a message from the Lord, bring him back with you to your house so he can eat food and drink water. But he had lied to him. So the prophet went back with him. He ate food in his house and drank water. Why doesn't the prophet go and inquire of God in some way instead of believing the lie? Like, this is such a weird story. It's a weird story. It's a prophet who speaks to God, who another prophet, who is an old prophet, is declaring that, hey, God told me this, and you need to do this. Why is he not inquiring of God to make sure that it's true? But I guess you're trusting the old prophet. Now, it said an old prophet. Is he actually a prophet of God? Is he actually? Let me go back. It just says an old prophet. So do not know if he's a prophet of God or not. While they were sitting at the table, the Lord's message came to the old prophet who had brought him back. So he cried out to the prophet who had come from Judah. This is what the Lord has said to you. You have rebelled against the Lord's instructions and have not obeyed the commandment the Lord your God gave you. You went back, you ate food, and you drank water in the place of which I said to you, eat no food, drink no water. Therefore your corpse will not be buried in your ancestors' tomb. So this is what happened after he had eaten food and drunk water. The old prophet saddled a donkey for the prophet whom he had brought back. So the prophet from Judah traveled on it. Then a lion attacked him on the road and killed him. Oh, not being obedient to God. You're a prophet. You should know better. What is this story all about? Phantom. Maybe the prophet is sick of everyone questioning what he says and doesn't want to do the same thing. I don't know. It's just curious. We have no reason for it. Does he know this other prophet? Why does this prophet lie? Why does this prophet pursue him? We have no rationale, no reason from this old prophet. Nothing. The prophet pursues after him, brings him back home, does this thing. Why is he doing this? I have no idea why the old prophet does what he does. We only have the act of disobedience, the temptation to be disobedient, and then that's what ends up happening. There was his body lying on the road with the donkey standing next to it and the lion standing there by the body. Then some men came passing by and saw the body laying in the road and the lion standing next to the body. They went and reported what they had seen in the city where the old prophet lived. When the old prophet who had invited him to his house heard the news, he said, "It is a prophet who rebelled against the Lord. The Lord delivered him over to the lion, and it tore him up and killed him, in keeping with the Lord's message that he had spoken to him. He told his son, "Saddle my donkey." So he saddled it. He went and found the body lying in the road with the donkey and the lion standing beside it. The lion had neither eaten the body nor attacked the donkey. The old prophet picked up the prophet's body, put it on the donkey, and brought it back. The old prophet then entered the city to mourn him and to bury him. He put the body into his own tomb, and they mourned over him, saying, "My brother." After he buried him, he said to his sons, "When I die, bury me in the tomb where the prophet is buried. Put my bones right beside his bones, because the message that he announced as the Lord's message against the altar in Bethel and against all the temples on the high places in the cities of the north will certainly be fulfilled." So this is super weird. This does make it sound like, yes, he is indeed a prophet of the Lord. We don't have his motive, though, for lying to him. Was God tempting the prophet who did that to show that no matter who you are, we've got kings who don't do what's right. We've got a prophet who doesn't do what is commanded, that no one escapes from being disobedient to God. After this happened, Jeroboam still did not change his evil ways. See, I told you, he just, like Pharaoh, said, "I want my hand healed." And he had his hand healed, but he did not repent. He did not turn from his evil ways. You've got to change your evil ways, Jeroboam. Okay. He continued to appoint common people as priests at the high places. Anyone who wanted the job, he consecrated as priest. You want to be a priest? I'll make you a priest. This sin caused Jeroboam's dynasty to come to an end and to be destroyed from the face of the earth. So we'll have to wait till next time to see how his whole dynasty is destroyed and what happens. But we have, like, Jeroboam becomes king, Jeroboam sins and loses the kingdom. But just nothing to see here. He could have had it. He could have had a dynasty like David. He could have ruled. He could have followed God. He chooses not to.